Some leaders command attention, others earn quiet respect by building what powers the world, piece by piece, idea by idea. Today's guest is one of those rare minds, Mr. Arinjai Gupta.
First, it is important to be a part of the practical learning. Theory doesn't work alone. Second thing is that it's when you apply the knowledge, you cannot just go abruptly apply the knowledge. Process of applying the knowledge is also equally important.
What kind of mindset did you build around your team to take bold steps with such speed and clarity?
As a corporate member, being as an engineer or the board member, that our larger interest is serving the society as a whole. It can be our product, it can be our services or entirety.
Some leaders command attention, others earn quiet respect by building what powers the world, piece by piece, idea by idea. Today's guest is one of those rare minds. Mr. Arinjai Gupta, Senior Principal Engineer at ABB, has spent over 15 years redefining how we think about power systems, protection devices, and digital transformation. From patents that push boundaries to papers that guide industries, he's led with depth, precision, and an eye for what's next. Whether it's developing digital twins, driving innovation workshops, or mentoring the next wave of engineers, he's done it with purpose and impact. This is FaceTime with Leaders, a podcast by Directors Institute, World Council of Directors, where we bring you conversations with visionaries shaping tomorrow's boardrooms. Mr. Gupta, we're honored to have you with us today.
Thank you, thank you. It's thanks for the warm welcome. You have put the everything nice and right perspective also. Again, I am very excited to be part of this discussion. I also see that you put a lot of generous word in my introduction that is already set a wonderful tone for our warm discussion and dialogue. I'm looking forward to go and share more insight in this conversation.
Likewise, sir. So every career has that turning point, that spark, that moment of this is what I want to do. Could you please take us through your journey in your own words? What shaped it? What kept you going? And how did it all start for you?
Okay, I mean, this is not the one point I can say in that particular day, but it was from one stage to another to another. That is what the complete journey is there. So I'll go through that on this aspect. Let's say 1996, I pass out, graduated from the Allahabad, and that was the first time. It was electrical engineering. I got my first breakup with campus interview, got very good industry, and initial period was a learning. Why I'm saying learning again? Because college was the theory and there was the practical, and then these two together connect was the fantastic thing. It's not only one part, it was the three things I learned in that initial period. First, it is important to be a part of the practical learning. Theory doesn't work alone. Second thing is that it's when you apply the knowledge, you cannot just go abruptly apply the knowledge. Process of applying the knowledge is also equally important. And third, when we talk about when we go into the college, electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, no. But you go into the industry, when you get the opportunity to serve the society, then you find it is not the one particular stream. It is the many streams going together. And that was the very early days the learning came. And then that time itself, I start focusing not only my own side, I try to understand other area also. Initial period, I got the chance to go directly into the commissioning of the big generators and all. And during that particular time, there was a lot of learning. I met with wonderful people, learn a new technology. I mean, just can I imagine it's in 1992 6 when I passed out, and 2000 when the Apple released the first touch. I was already worked in 1996 with a touch screen, so that much advancement was there when I joined the industry. So when we go, we learn early stages the technology advancement, working with the best mind in the industry. Learn. I mean, I call them as a guru. That is what they shaped my career in the very early days. During that particular time, I come across one particular part. I mean, we were having a generator, there was some problem, And that problem was on two aspects. It was one electrical problem, high vibration, but when the generator tripped because of protection, complete blackout was happening, and that was the biggest problem. And then we start looking at what is that thing is there. The four few people come together, try to put our thought, look for data all together. At the end, we solve the problem. And that was the first milestone in terms of we put our understanding on the paper, and that was first paper came we published into the that time pulp and paper industry. And that is the part set the tone. I start looking that whether I can take more challenges or not. Immediately after that, I got the chance to really work on one challenging thing. That time deregulation of the DSO was going on, and a lot of company in the power system was going in the privatization. I got one chance where the problem in front of me was make the system unmanned. Think about the part where nobody is working, but still system is running. And from there, the first time I got the chance to work as a lead, it was collecting the data from the field, putting it on the paper, working on the design part, discussing with the customer as a large, convincing them and deploying it. And when we do this part, there was another incident came forward, which was more likely I got a product, later realized it's require energy meter also. Is energy meter is a rocket science? No, it is a known thing. But the point is when we are serving the customer, then we find it, the product should have this feature. So then this product, particularly from the France, and that time it was not available, and we discussed it was a 3 years work for them. And then we put again the two three people come together says that why not we put algorithm. But then again the question will be how to put inside the product, wrap it around the within the product, and that is another thing we don't know. And that was the first time when we said a collaborative research we did it. We have a discussion with our French colleague at that time. They look for our algorithm because the product is their baby. Why they will allow us? So we have to convince them, and then slowly they open up, they accepted our algorithm, and then what they were looking forward 3 years, it done in 6 months, and we finally done and to the customer deployed also. And this was the immense because after that we come to know they put it in the product as a main feature, and globally it's gone. So that was the second turning point came where we say that the research and all this part come forward. And slowly at the same time we realize, okay, why not to try into the research and development? And then I joined ABB, which is product development company. And from there, everything we did the numerous product. Some of them is first in world it kind of features. So from there to here now, this is what I see. It's a summary of all which molded me toward the research and development.
Yeah, I think very well
So
put, sir.
that's
The theory of college along with the practical experience actually helps you shape what you want to do in life.
very correct, up to the mark.
So
So,
speaking of pivotal moments, we were just talking about it. Let's talk about speedy G2. You once described it as not zero risk but calculated risk. That really stuck with me. What kind of mindset did you build around your team to take bold steps for, with such speed and clarity?
okay, so when we started the college, from the college it was an individual. I was learning, I was getting, but the more and more I go upside, I have to take care of my team also. It was not what I put; it is more like what my team puts on the table. And when we start doing this thing, first we try to understand what is mean by G2 is there. So in the product development, particularly ABB, as a company, as a organization follow gate model we call it. What it means is that every step is well defined, we have to achieve that, and then only the next step comes. That's why we call it gate. Now what is mean by gate model is a G0 when the product management look for the market potential, ROI and all comes. And G2 is the part where R&D start committing on that part, saying that okay, I can deliver this technology, and that time that cost. What used to happen that when you have a new feature, it always takes a lot of time to commit on this part. This is called the time taking, because as a technical point we try to look for the perfect solution. We try to make the solution which is like after the commitment should be zero risk, but that never comes. Over the period we learn whatever the time we can put 10 years 50 years, just a thought, when we develop something during the journey, we definitely get some problem. So why to put too much effort on that side to make it zero risk? Rather, calculate the risk, identify the risk, make a plan for mitigation of that risk, and then go for the G2. And some of the time, you find that unnecessary that risk is never occurred. So it's never trigger, and but we were having a mitigation plan already there, and sometime a trigger also, but then you have a mitigation plan, but maybe it takes little more, 5 days, 10 days, 2 week, 4 week, but the the time before G2 it was going for 3 months or 6 months can always come on that side. And this is what we call the SPD G2. And when we say SPD G2, what it happened, we come together on the same room, identify the risk what we are talking about here, and then we also try to see up to what level we should do the POC, proof of concept, make our hand dirty, to reach the point where we get a sufficient confidence that we can manage it. And that is the part we do it, and then we go for the G2, and we start calling as SPDG2. And that is in nutshell is it's not about the technology. It's about convincing the all the mindset who is working up to that point, all the team member. Ultimately, they're part of me only. So it's I cannot just go and say that, oh, we want to do this thing. It is the buying should be there, my must be there. One side is the management, that is okay, time is the essence, that is fantastic, but the part with the team is equally important. And that is where the first time we did it, I know that it was a lot of discussion part was there. It was more than technical, the process itself is got discussed. But I think we did it, and now we are standing. The people even don't say speedy G2, it says G2, because now the new norm is the G2 is this only. So that is where the SPD G2 part comes. So that side, just in nutshell, I'll share it.
I think that's a really enlightening thought and which would really be helpful to our viewers. So, this brings me to something else I noticed. You've authorized papers that have traveled across continents IEEE, PCIC, and CIGRE. If you had to put it just in one sentence, what really drives you to keep exploring, researching, and publishing at that level?
Okay. So I will say that publishing is the one part is there, research is another aspect of that. But the deep rooted in me is like, if there is a problem and if I can contribute to solve this thing, then I start looking on that solution part of that. And this is something like, I will never say it's a patent, I will never say as a paper. It is more likely curiosity is there, why something is not working, or how I can contribute so that it can work. So this deep rooted thought, I mean, it is there with me, where I always try to say like, okay, wherever we are standing it could be problematic, maybe it is already good, how to make it next step, next level from there. And this is the fundamental aspect comes. It is a passion for me. When we talk about the research, it also gives me the opportunity to really push for the boundary, look for the explore the uncharted territory, look for the pushing the knowledge boundary where nobody has thought about. Sometimes fail, most of the time pass also, and this is where the research comes. Second part is once something is done, I also like to share with the larger, community. There we start going to a different conferences, try to put it. It is having a multi-factor, advantage. First itself is that collaboration comes. Once you present it, people come forward, try to look for that. As a society, you are putting a one brick of the knowledge. In future, someone will come put another brick on above of that, and this is the way humanity goes on. This is one part. And during that meeting itself, when you are interacting with a like mandate, like competency, there is some iota of spark also comes. And that is something like change the game entirely. Third part is that, from my point of view, sharing is collective advancement of the technology. So if I'm doing something in my home, my company, why not other can also use it? So reinventing of the wheel will not be there. So this is the another aspect of sharing this, and that's we participate in various conferences. It gives me two idea. One is what I'm sharing it. Sometimes the user also comes and they share their problem. So it is more likely both the way is there. That which is more important is there when we I go with the bigger community, I come across a lot of refinement in my thought process also, and that is something is more important. I think with respect to every aspect of that. So how it works it here, I know this thing, and somebody I presented, and that gentleman or team of the members say, why not you try this way? Maybe it is more effective. Maybe it takes a little time. Maybe it gives better result. Maybe it can solve the other thing also, and that gives the immense pleasure making it that delta. So I think this is in nutshell. I'll say what I look forward, what motivate most to me in terms of continuing the research and development aspect.
Yeah, so I think your giving back nature is truly coming out in your ways of living and how, which is very right, sir, that if we build smaller things, then the future community builds on that and humanity grows. So it's lovely to hear, sir.
You know what happened for any parent, the point is the pride moment is that when your kid starts saying that you are doing something right,
Yeah.
rest all is immaterial. So I'll just share that I'm a principal engineer that time when this occurred. And my kid at that time, fifth or sixth standard, whenever he goes to the school, teacher asked, and he was very uncomfortable saying that I am a principal engineer because he was relating principal of the school versus principal engineer, nothing much, right? And then it came, and in one of the summer vacation, he went to native, and from there he called and says that you're writing a patent. I saw your name in the Google. So is it you? You say, yeah, yes, I'm there. And that is the moment. That is the moment is there. Every time he goes, he met with the friend, introduced me. He says that he's my father, he's a principal engineer, he writes a patent. I mean, you cannot compare this kind of achievement with any medal, any post, any membership, right? So this is also drives us as a whole to me as a
Yeah.
personal friend.
Sir, what's your take on working with energy transition initiatives? Like, do you think smaller firms or startups can practically adopt such high level strategies, or is it still a space dominated by large enterprises?
Okay, so we'll go with the steps of that. What is mean by the energy transition? So if we say what is truly meaning of energy transition is that it terms like if you see globally, everyone is start looking on the various alternative to replace the fossil fuels, and that is coming all everybody. If you look north side, south side, everywhere you go, it's like fossil PV is coming, wind is coming. But why we need it? That is a very important aspect. First is environment, another is energy security. I mean, we cannot live on the oil or the coal because one day they will go to the zero, and then the energy is still required. Third part is start popping up, the pollution part of that is there, right? So all this triggered the look like, why not look for the alternative? Why not look for the infinite source? What is the infinite source? Is the wind is there, sun is there, and then we start coming with the PV and solar. Now if we look into that, are we doing today? It is the first time we are doing. Last 20 years people put it. Then what is mean the energy transition? Now the important aspect is what drives the social imbalance. Just to mention it, today's scenario we are having 30,558 tetrawatt hour generated in 2024. Almost 40% is done by the renewable. Another 60% is done by particularly coal and all. So it's already 40, 60 is there. We have to cover a long journey. But what is the important thing? If you look it from the North Pole to the South Pole, you come across everybody is not getting the right share of the energy. What it means? If you look the worldwide, who is leading the chart is the Canada. They are 15.5 megawatt hour as a per capita consumption. World average is the 3.8. So 3.8 to top itself is this much. And where is the India? India is further down 1.7. I mean, this much imbalance is there is not about India, is not about the Canada. It's more about the Earth as a single entity. And if we say that Canada in the coldest part is able to generate the power, we are in equator full sun, why not we? And that is the part, if you look at, there is some technological part is there. But if we go to the Europe, you'll come across what is the challenge is there. They are generating full more abundant power. Their spot price of the energy is a minus. If what it means, if you consume, you will get the money. That is something like in India or other part of Asian country, you will find it. There is a scarcity of the power is there as energy, and there it is start popping up saying that why not make together a one grid, common grid. Something is done from the extreme where the generation can be more. Let the power flow to the part where it is more consumed, and there it is start integrating the renewable together. Think about the challenge behind that. Integration is one part. We can make the road, we can make the grid, we can draw the power wire also to flow the power. But the challenge is the earlier way of the system. Earlier was power generated on one station and consumed to another. So it is generated somewhere, consume one direction. Think about the river. It is to start flowing in the other direction. This is exactly the same thing PV start giving, solar start giving, because now the power can flow either direction. It means that infrastructure wise, reliability aspect, all other will start coming together in one part, and we have to solve all this problem together. This is fundamental problem to adaptation of the renewable within the existing system. First part, answer the energy security means you are not dependent upon the coal alone. You are looking for the power from the wind, power from the sun. Also, you are start harnessing the infinite source, but it is not available in a day. The power is available in the sun, but in the night it is not available. It triggers another technology which we call it is start like okay, energy storage system. So I will just say that it look like from the outer perspective, it is a game of big player, but it's not. It's equally important for the startup. Why? Because there is a immense technology challenges there where the startup can pitch in. What? Agility, innovation. This is the first part where the startup can come. If I start telling this challenge aspect of that, you will come to know. If we go to the north side, North Pole, you will find there is a not enough sun is there, but then there is a snow on the ground is there. There is a part that you can reflect the light from the lower side to make the energy, and there is a research area. Again comes the part where you say the tracking of the lens solar so that you can follow the part is another area. Reliability aspect, resilience of the system. Resilience means if there is some changes comes because of something did somebody did the wrong thing or some system gone collapse, is still rest of the system is available. All this kind of thing is a start coming when the startup will come. For example, if you look for the solar PV solar panel, you will find over the period there is a dust accumulated. Now, dust accumulation is not a part of the traditional or conventional way of doing. Either you can remove it, put the water, but then efficiency is not there. So think about the technology which can identify that okay, now there is a dust, there is AI, there is a ML is there. It can also say that your alignment with the solar to the sun is not correct. If you align by 1 degree, maybe more power is there. So these are a small winning moments are there, and they start up with a unique set of competency and their agility. I think they can do it. Question comes here whether there will be two entity will go separately, big player and the startup. Answer is no. The success lies somewhere in between, where the big player will start collaborating with the startup and do the meaningful thing which makes at the end life easy system more reliable and that perspective. So I'll just say that that is the way that energy transition can help us, not only for the big player but also to the startup in that.
I think how you just describe it really opens a few eyes about where we are and where we can and should go. Mr. Gupta, hearing everything you've built and contributed so far, from patents to global systems, it's clear you're someone who's always thinking a few steps ahead. So, I'd love to ask that as you look ahead, do you see yourself stepping into more strategic spaces, perhaps taking on advisory or boardroom roles? Like, what's the vision you're shaping for the next chapter of your journey?
I mean, if I look the particularly the aspect, I see it, the future lies more on the strategic role. It can be advisory, it can be board, somewhere where I can influence a more aspect of the same technological thing. For example, there is always question comes why board? You are doing the work fantastic. Why you are looking further work? Yeah, in a way, it's a correct, but the effect is multiplying. What it mean by multiplying effect? If today wherever I am doing the work, it is going to twofold, threefold. But if I go to more upside on the channel where the policy is framed, governance is framework is decided, there it can be exponential impact. And that is where the strategic thinking comes. For example, point of view, there are fundamental things for AI ML is start popping up. Lot of potential part is going on. But then as a human being, we also have a responsibility how to manage this particularly technological breakthrough in terms of not only using it but how ethically use this particular part. And that is where doing the work on one side and doing the work on the advisory side, I can probably make more substantial changes. Another thing is that so far I learned a lot of things. I can also work in the boardroom, not only a technical aspect, it can be in between the gap from the business need and the technological and merging together. So I can put the gap or work as a bridge between the two extremes, and then the result can be more useful, more profitable in terms of money also, and then at the end it is also solving the social need. Another part comes when we talk about the innovation. It always comes like what to innovate. It is always started with let us make more money. Is it the right thing? Answer is a no. When we look into the society in which we are working, any organization or maybe in the organization, I myself, we have some responsibility. We call it a stakeholder. What is mean by stakeholder? Whether it is just a chairman? No. It is the employee? No. Everyone together is a part of a stakeholder. And when you are looking for the technology, new innovation, then you start looking whether the last mile, last person is getting affected by this in positive sense. If you find you are doing wonderful, but at the end, the people who is surrounding to you as a social responsibility, they are not getting benefited or in adverse way they are getting it, then it is a dangerous thing. Your innovation is not on the right track. And this kind of thing can be derived from the top itself. It cannot come in the middle when the story or the target is already written. This is one part. Another thing is that right now we look into the sustainability. What is mean by sustainability? It means that we had to put the things, use the thing in a such a way that we can live infinite. Our future generation is not facing the problem in terms of what the life comes after some years. So in that way, if you look, there was a few things we already make a mess out of that. One example is that we start using the plastic which is going into the product. Every aspect you take anything, you will find it is not good. Now it is a return back. Return back means you are throwing it back to the system and then corroding, water is polluting, all this thing is happening. And then the right part is what 15 years before we had to take the decision. And that is where if I'm there, I probably think that I can bridge the gap, saying that this innovation make the difference. We should try to do this work, not to just take the shortcut and make the business out of that in for a very short term period. This is one aspect of that. Second aspect is a start also coming. Okay, innovation is one part, but should we do it? Should we buy it? Is there anybody who is more competent to us, or we put our effort, our people to develop it? It is like some 20 years, 30 years, there was a phenomena that everything we do within the organization. We are not very open for outside. But now the technology offers is pure, society is also mature. We also should work on the open innovation. Means if you are good on that, let you do it. I will use your technology in my side. And that is also very important. We start calling it make or buy. Should we buy it or should we make it? That strategy can also come from the top, not to the ground level itself. So these are the few aspects is there which I'll say it. I see strategic level decision. It can be advisory, it can be board position also. I can fulfill it that part. The whole idea is whatever we developed as a product, as a service, at the end it should fulfill not only today's, but it also make sure that future is still bright on that aspect. So on that, I'll just conclude my part.
Yeah, I think it would be a privilege for any board, any company to have you with them, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, with your experience leading innovation and managing high stakes technical programs, governance isn't just a policy, it's lived every day in how decisions are made, risks are handled, and teams are led. From your lens as a senior engineering leader, how do you see corporate governance playing a role in driving responsible innovation and long term value in organizations like ABB?
Okay, so I'll just take the little detour of our 1 month or 6 month. As you know, generative AI and now all the things is gone where the people start using the some another work, and there was a lot of fuss in US is gone with respect to generative AI. When we talk about the governance, compliance, ethical standard and compliance is the top of the chart. Whether it is a some rule, some standard, no, it is inner value which comes in front what we should do, what we should not do it. For example, there are the company, particularly I am very proud of part of ABB because when we do the work here, we don't see it's a rule, it is applied for one country. If that rule makes sense, we ourselves take the decision that will make it to everyone across the globe. It is not relevant to that particular area. For example, we start coming that okay, we should not use the hazard material in our product. So now in that way, if you look whether it is any standard is given only for few European countries coming forward. Now if I want to go make a product, it's very easy for anybody to say okay, that is an ask, just make the product for that, other is still going on, you are competitive in the product. Answer is a no. The compliance as an ethical aspect is very important. It's not just a simple compliance. We say no, ethically it doesn't make sense, it is not good. If it is a dangerous for this, let us make the product which is good, which is green for everyone across the globe. And that is where the compliance ethical, that's very important part, comes into the picture. Second part is also very important is like how you make strategic alliances. I mean, when you are having some thought process, some vision, some values on which you are going forward, you have to also find the partner who share the same beliefs, same value, and that is where the strategic part comes. Sometimes you will find it maybe that balance is not giving a monetary value, but still you're carrying the bigger value, which is called society as a whole. You have to serve it. Sometime by product, most of the time by your intangible aspect, which is coming to that. Same thing is start coming. Just very important question. A part is let's say cybersecurity. We know it's going. Everything is getting connected. When everything is getting connected, then cybersecurity will start popping as the top of the table. Everything will come behind that, and we know that. We know that now. Normal people also know that what is that cybersecurity. How much if you are not good enough, then it can damage a lot more things. We take as a pride to say that if cybersecurity we are developing in the product for one particular reason, I mean, this is a fact also as a maturity level. Some reason on the earth are more mature in terms of all these drivers. Few reasons are not there. But when we talk about the ethical aspect of the part, then it look like no. If there is a product, it will be secure, whether you put it on North Pole, Equator, or South Pole. Everywhere the product will be secure in terms of cybersecurity. Maybe we will generate a little less money. That's all okay with us. Perfectly fine with the rest of the thing. So this part start coming on the aspect where ethical is there, then strategic alignments is there. Third and very important aspect, risk management. It is not the risk I see it in my product. Risk management start from the enterprises risks to the down level and reverse. What it means, what is coming to the downside can reach up to that part. Sometimes the training is good enough, sometimes you're required to make a substantial changes. Tool down, let us do this thing, let us fix this part. This kind of aspect also come. This is something like I will say the corporate comes forward similar way. Now that once it is done, then very important aspect comes also as a corporate governance is accountability and performance measurement. It cannot be achieved just saying that okay, we need to do, we fail. No, that doesn't work. there is a accountability fixing that, okay, this is the part is there, this is supposed to be done, and then monitoring it. That it is not about the, giving a somebody a cold kind of thing or scolding. It is more likely continuous improvement. It always comes like, okay, this was the thing we lack it, let us improve it. It is not about the other way. So monitoring is something I give them more value, in terms of when you monitor it, then only you have a chance to improve it. If you don't monitor it, you will never get a chance to improve it. So I think when we talk about the corporate governance, lot of thing comes. Some comes with the business, some come with the environment. Most of the thing is come with the society, and we had to think as a corporate member, being as an engineer or the board member, that our larger interest is serving the society as a whole. It can be our product, it can be our services, or entirety any other thing which directly or indirectly impact our shareholder or our stakeholder. I will put the stakeholder preference here other than the shareholder. So on this
Correct.
way, I'll just say that,
Very
yeah,
well
yeah.
said, sir. Lovely. Mr. Gupta, before we wrap up, I'd love to hear a bit about your experience with Directors Institute. Like, what drew you to the platform in the first place, and how has being part of this ecosystem shaped your thinking around governance?
Okay, I mean, particularly, okay, how it is all started. So all started is like, what is the next for me? I think it's a strategic way I to go, but where is that? How I can achieve it? And that is the time probably I came across Director Institute. Is almost likely 2 3 years, and in between there was director board part. That is I already clear that is the easy part is there. Now comes to the next aspect of that, where to understand what is the thing, how to put myself that I am a rightful candidate. I think Director Institute is doing fantastic work on that aspect. Saying so, lot more good thing is there. You only provided very few minutes. I can just wrap it with it. Keep on doing the things, really making a lot of difference in the society. And particularly from my point of view, came from a one village, looking for that and still trying. I'm not saying that success is there right now or not. Just trying itself is the life, and I truly believe on that. So keep on doing that thing. Thank you.
Lovely, sir. This conversation has been nothing short of insightful. From engineering innovation to learning mindset, from digital twins to boardroom aspirations, your journey reflects the rare blend of technical depth and human clarity. It's been a privilege, sir, to hear your story, not just as an accomplished engineer, but as a mentor, a thinker, and a leader, like we were discussing, who sees the much bigger picture.
Yeah, I mean, thanks to you, then also, I mean, you have given me the platform to really share my thought process here in broader sense. Now I'm sharing not only the profit loss, not one product, in totality we are talking about. So thanks. I appreciate the opportunity you have provided to really see how I can contribute. You put your thought also. We have very warm discussion here. Looking forward in future any discussion so far on that one. Thank you.
Love. Thank you so much, sir. And to our audience, we hope you leave this episode inspired, a little more curious, and with a deeper appreciation of the kind of leadership that shapes systems and futures quietly but powerfully. This was FaceTime with Leaders, a podcast by Directors Institute. Until next time, keep learning, keep leading, and most importantly, keep building forward. And of course, have fun in your journey. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.